Hey guys, how's it going? We're gonna get started here in just a second. Make sure everything's set up where we need to be. We're gonna give about a minute for everybody else to get on that wants to participate here. Okay, pull this up on my page or my phone here as well. Um, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. This is your guys' time. I want to make sure you guys don't leave with any questions or concerns. If you have questions, just put them in the comment section below. If you're watching us live, comment team live. If you're watching us on replay, you just comment replay. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started. So my name is Ben Bagge. I'm a physical therapist and owner of Pro+Kinetix Physical Therapy and Performance. We're located in Uptown Oakland, right across from the local YMCA within Truve, a wellness facility. And we specialize in helping people that are active get back to working out, whether that's they were having knee pain with running, they're having back pain with working out, shoulder pain with overhead activities, or they're having difficulty sleeping, not able to play with their kids. That's things that we really specialize in helping people get back to. So if you're active and you're having some pain, please reach out and let us know, and we're happy to help. So today's topic is ergonomics, right? So now that with the shelter in place, we're having quite a few of our past as well as current patients reaching out to us with new shoulder pain, all right, and low back pain as well. And that's because everybody's got their makeshift desks at home now that they've made, and that can be at the dining room table, at the couch, standing desk, and whatnot, and it's leading to a lot of shoulder tightness, neck pain, and then also low back pain. So we're going to be touching on those today, and getting the appropriate ergonomic setup with regards to our workstation. So we're going to get right into it. So the thing that we see the most commonly with regards to poor posture is neck tightness. All right. So I want you guys to do is I want you to take your hand, place on your upper shoulder area, and what I want you to do is raise your arm up to in the front and also to the side. And I want you guys to feel that top muscle. Do you feel how it activates as you raise the arm up and down? Okay, that's your upper trap. Okay, that the upper trap attaches at the base of the skull and then comes down and attaches at each shoulder, right? And so first thing with bad posture like this, and we want to look up at the computer screen or our monitor, that upper trap has to continuously contract to hold our head up, okay? And so over time, if we maintain that position for 8 hours a day, it gets tight, and we start getting a lot of this tightness in the shoulder, and it can also even generate headaches because we have nerves that are that attach to the base of the skull, and then they wrap around, okay, the side of the forehead, and it can cause headaches if those are being compressed down. Okay, they can become compressed down by that upper trap if it gets tight, right? So we can actually decrease headaches or tension type headaches by loosening up this upper trap. And we actually have quite a few patients right now that are seeing us strictly for headaches and whatnot. So, anyways, we want to make sure we have this muscle turned off as much as possible. All right. So you can imagine if we have our mouse out in front of us too far, right, that's going to cause a lot of upper trap tightness. So I'm going to kind of scoot this laptop out here a little bit so you guys can see more of the desk. So I chose to be on the couch today. It's because I know a lot of people are actually sitting in their couch to work. And this is the area that's most problematic. All right, so we want to make sure we're keeping our arm and our elbow as close to us as possible. Okay, we don't want it out here moving our mouse. We want to keep that tucked by our side, okay, at 90 degrees. Okay, the further we get that arm out, the more trap activation we're going to get and more susceptible we are to getting tightness there. All right, so make sure that's at 90 degrees, and then you're just moving the mouse here and rotating at the shoulder joint. Okay, that's number one. All right, number two is also computer monitor placement. We want that ideally at eye level. Okay, we don't want that too low where we're looking down, okay, especially for laptops. Okay? We also don't want that computer screen too high. Otherwise, our neck, the upper trap that we were talking about, has to lift our head, and there can be a lot of tension placed on that muscle and demand on that muscle to hold our head up, so we get tightness there. So ideally, keep that monitor right at eye level. A lot of times people have dual monitors, or sometimes even three. All right, you want to try and get those monitors as close to each other as possible. Okay, so instead of having to look left and right, we can just use our eyes to where we keep our heads pointed straight ahead, and then just use our eyes to look left and look right. Okay. So those are two big ones. All right. The other one is armrests. Okay. I see a lot of people with like desk chairs where the elbow rests or armrests are super high. So what it does is it elevates our shoulders like this. Okay. And we talked about how that upper trap attaches here and then comes up to the neck. That's going to put that muscle in a shortened position. All right. We want to have our arms relaxed. Okay. But we also don't want to just not have any arm rests at all. Okay. We also want to have some support. Okay. We just want to make sure that support's not forcing our shoulder up at all. Okay. So that's a big one. Then low back support is also important. Okay, because if we have our low back in a bad position, that's going to work its way up the chain into the shoulders. Okay, so if I have my low back is kind of like, my low back is rounded out, okay, like this. Do you see how my shoulders round forward too? Okay, and then for me to lift my head up, that upper trap has to contract. Okay, watch what happens to my shoulder and my upper body as I fix my low back. Do you see how everything changes? Right? Now everything's stacked where it needs to be. Okay, so instead of here where I'm slouched over at the low back positioning, I correct that, and my shoulders and my neck all follow in alignment. Okay, now we keep that spine in the position that is ideal. Okay, to decrease some of this pain and discomfort. Okay, so that's a big one. However, I get a lot of people that are like, or a lot of patients that are like, I fix my posture in 5 to 10 minutes, I'm back into that bad positioning. I have to continuously remind myself. So you can do is you can take like a pillow, or you can fold up a pillow, okay, and make it thicker. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to place that behind your back. Okay, and that's not going to allow you to fall forward. Okay, it's gonna push your spine forward. Okay, and you're not going to be able to lean back into that, if that makes sense. Okay, it's going to help us stay in that upright position. Okay, at the same time, we don't want to place that too low. If we put that too low and it's just going to push our hips forward. Okay, so we want to make sure we scoot our hips back. Then we take that pillow or that rolled up towel and place it behind our back for that support. Okay, so that's a big one, and that can make a huge difference for both shoulder and low back pain. Okay, that's something we see a lot where patients come with both shoulder and low back, and usually it's because of the low back positioning at work. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the keyboard positioning. All right, so if I have my keyboard, okay, and I don't have, let's say I don't have any wrist support here, okay, I'm gonna have to lift my wrist up to type, okay. However, if I get some wrist support or elevators or like a padding underneath, now it elevates my hands, and now they're at level, right? And so I can type like this. If we don't have that, then we have to kind of extend our wrists like this, and these muscles here have to work to hold our wrist up. And then we can also this can lead to carpal tunnel syndrome too, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about, okay? Because there's constant tension of our muscles and our ligaments and tendons to hold that wrist up, okay, and put that into extension. If we have something underneath our wrist, it elevates that, and now we're in a neutral position here. Our muscles don't have to constantly hold our hands up, okay, because we're in a more ideal position. So now we're also going to go over lower body as well. Actually, let's go over foam. This is usually not a problem. It used to be back in the day, but now they've been really honing down on making sure this is an issue in the workplace, especially now that we have wireless headsets and stuff. But we want to make sure if we're answering the phone, we're not pinning that up against our neck. to hold it in place and then typing, okay, that's going to lead to a lot of upper trap tightness. Okay, so wireless headphones are great if you're going to be on the phone a lot, or like a wireless headset or something like that too, just to help maintain that neutral positioning. Okay, let's see if there was anything else for the upper body before we move down to the lower body. Yeah, those are, I mean, there's a couple other things that, we could talk about, but I want you guys to max. I don't want to overload you guys with information. We want to get the lowest hanging fruit. What I mean by that is the things that are these changes that I'm suggesting are going to make the biggest amount of differences. Okay. Once you maximize these, then we can start talking about these other changes, these other smaller changes that will make a difference, but not nearly as much of a difference as these. Okay. I see a lot of people that just don't implement these. Okay, make sure you hone on these, and then we can get to that. All right. So I'm going to grab a chair, and so we can talk about the lower body as well and lower body positioning. Okay, let me grab a chair. Okay. Let's see how we're going to do this here. Just worried about that backlighting. You guys might be able to see. Let's go here. We should be able to try this. Okay. So what we want with regards to the positioning, let me show you guys the lower body here. All right. So I'm using a bar stool. It's a little bit, luckily I'm taller, so it actually kind of works out okay for me. So you guys see how my lower body is at a 90-degree angle here. Okay. We don't want the seat too low. Otherwise, what would happen, or have our feet supported by something? Do you see how this angle is decreased now? Okay. It's much less than 90 degrees. Okay, the reason for that is we have a muscle called the hip flexor. It attaches at the upper leg and then also inserts into the pelvis. Okay, and if that's in a shortened position, this can change the orientation of the pelvis when we're standing and when we're actually moving. And this, because it influences the pelvis and can tilt the pelvis, it can also change the low back positioning as well, and it's responsible for people having a lot of low back pain. All right, so make sure you don't have your feet too high supported or your seat too low, and vice versa. We don't want the seat like too high. Now, do you guys see how? Like this angle is definitely not 90 degrees, greater than 90 degrees now, and this can change. This isn't good positioning either, okay, because it can force you to, now you have to lean back to be able to put your feet flat on the floor. That's another thing too, is we want our feet flat on the floor. Okay, we always want that supported, but not too supported where we're up here like this. Okay. All right, move this out of the way. And then we're also going to go over a mobility routine that you guys can do as well. That you can do at your desk and your workstation. Okay, to decrease tightness. This one doesn't require you to have to get up or down on the floor or anything like that. I want to make it as convenient as possible so you guys take advantage of it. Okay, they're very simple, but they go a long, long ways. Okay, and can decrease a lot of discomfort and injuries in the future. So what we're going to do is we're just going to simply sit up nice and tall, and then we're pulling our shoulder blades down and back. Okay, we're sticking our chest out. Okay, when we are sitting with bad posture, these muscles, these pecs in the front get pretty darn tight. Okay, and can change that shoulder position. All right, we want to be opening that up, squeezing and activating those muscles in the back of the back and between the shoulder blades, and then we're relaxing. And then we're pulling back, squeezing for 2 to 3 seconds, and then relaxing. Okay, and again, all right, we want to be ideally doing 10 to 15 reps of that and doing 3 sets. If you guys want to copy, before I get too deep in this, if you guys want to copy this mobility routine, just direct message me or private message me here on Facebook, and just provide me with your email address, and I'll send that over your way. It'll have how many reps, how many sets to be doing, how often you should be doing, video description, written description, and stuff like that too. So if you guys want a copy of that, just let me know and message me on Facebook. Or you guys can also reach us at ProKinetixRehab.com. And then I'll also put my email address as well in the comments if you guys just want to message me there. All right, so back to the program. Again, those are called scapular retractions. It's going to help activate the muscles in the back and loosen up the muscles in the front. Okay. Next one we want to do is, we talked about how When we sit with bad posture, if we round out like this, okay, that changes and causes flexion of the thoracic spine. The thoracic spine is that mid back, okay? And if we're rounded out like this is as far as I can raise up, okay? So I see a lot of people with shoulder injuries, or that I go to see a physical therapist, and that physical therapist just works on the shoulder joint, all right? That's not going to get you very far if my thoracic spine's all bent out of shape, okay? Watch what happens to my ability to reach overhead if I just fix my posture, okay, from rounding out like this to sitting up tall. Do you guys see how much of a big difference that makes? And that's not, I'm not doing anything with the shoulder joint. That's just me fixing and improving my thoracic mobility. Okay, that's how important it is. So how do we fix that? Good question. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross our arms across our chest, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just extend back and then back forward. This can be, you can increase the intensity of this if you have like low back support on your chair that's a little bit lower. Then you can kind of fold over it and use that back support as like a fulcrum to fold over the top. All right, extending back and then forward. Extending back and forward, okay? I'm not gonna go through the full reps and sets just for time purposes today. But again, you wanna be doing about 10 to 15 reps of all of these, okay? So that thoracic spine moves in flexion as well as extension, as well as rotation, okay? So we worked on extension. We already spent too much time in flexion, so we're not gonna work on that. We need to also improve rotation. So how we can do that is put your arms out in front like this, and then we're just opening up, okay? And then make sure your head is following your arm and back forward. Okay, so this is working on that rotation. And it's also going to help loosen up your neck as well. Okay, and we're also going to do the same thing other side. And again, you do ideally 10 to 15 reps of this. Okay. Next one is for the low back. Okay, so I'm going to kind of change positions here so you guys can see. So with this, we want to try and round out as much as we can at the low back and then extend. You guys see how my low back's moving here? We want to round out and then extend. Okay, we're trying to move primarily at that low back. Our spine wants and likes movement. Okay, the best way to decrease low back pain is actually moving, okay, all through the ranges of motion that that spine can tolerate. Okay, again, none of these exercises should be painful. Okay, they should almost all feel pretty darn good. Okay, so again, 10 to 15 reps there. Okay, and then last one, again, I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I'm going to give you guys 5 exercises. Next one is putting your arm behind your back like this. Okay, and then we're reaching across over the top, and then we're pulling or gently just using the weight of our arm to pull the head to the side like this. And we ideally hold this for about 30 seconds. Okay, and then we can also switch the other side. And same exact thing. We should feel a nice gentle stretch. Again, we don't want to be yanking down on the head. Okay, we just want to use the weight of the arm to produce that stretch. That should be plenty. Okay, and again, we'd be holding this for about 30 seconds and doing 3 sets of this. Okay, so those are things that you should be doing. I mean, in a perfect world, about every hour if you're sitting. Okay, a good gold standard is sitting for an hour, standing for an hour, and then also walking for 5 to 10 minutes, and just doing that on repeat throughout the day. Assume the most perfect posture, the most upright position. If I'm sitting for 8 hours, no matter if it's perfect posture or not, it's going to lead to pain and discomfort. Our bodies aren't meant and designed to be sitting for 8 to 10 hours a day. Okay, we want to be moving. Okay, so keep moving, changing positions, even if it's not the most ideal position. Like you could lean like this for a little bit, sit up nice and tall for a little bit, right? Lean from side to side. Okay, it doesn't always have to be the most perfect position every hour throughout the day. Make sure you're changing positions. Okay, so that's a big one too. So I want to make sure that I got everything that I wanted to talk about today. Yep, so recap, mouse positioning. Okay, keep that closer to your body. Armrest, make sure that's not shrugging. Okay, we've got, make sure you have low back support for your back to make sure you're sitting upright. And then keyboard, make sure you have some wrist support underneath so we don't have to actively hold our wrists up and activate those muscles. Seat height, make sure you've got a 90 degrees at the hips. We're not elevated too high or too low. Make sure there's some feet support there. And then also phone positioning, make sure you've got like headsets that are wireless. Make sure we're not pinning the phone up like this, okay? And then those 3 to 5 exercises. Ideally, again, every hour if you're sitting, but I know it's, in a realistic world, you're busy, you forget about it. Try and do 1 or 2 times a day, okay? But yeah, make sure that it's also important to have like an ergonomic assessment done as well. So we're offering a discount on this for this week only. We started offering on Monday to a couple of our current as well as past patients, and that offer ends Friday, tomorrow. So if you guys want to take advantage of that, reach out to me, and I'm happy to do an assessment there as well. If these exercises help, that means we're on the right track. If you're having shoulder and low back pain and these didn't help, that just means that your body needs something else. Okay, we need to take a further look at what's going on. All right, we had a patient that she came and did these exercises for a week. We did an ergonomic. I did a Facebook Live for my Facebook group for the clinic, and she's like, "Yeah, I did these, and it actually made it worse." And so she was a little bit concerned, and I'm like, "Why don't you come in and we'll take a look at it?" And it turns out, yeah, her body just needs something. We just need to make some other tweaks. It actually wasn't really coming from her low back; it's coming from her hip, and we just needed to address that instead of the low back, and that cleared up the low back and also cleared up her shoulder. So it just means your body needs something else if these don't make it better, and it can sometimes, yeah, in some cases make it worse. But again, if you're having pain with this, stop. All right, and let us know. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. We also have a private Facebook group as well for my clinic and practice. So if you guys want to join that, I'll put that in the comments as well, and I'll see if you guys are a right fit for that. But mainly we just post a lot of mobility workouts, home exercise programs on there, and talk about other topics with regards to exercise, like running and biking and hiking and all that stuff too. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, feel free to click or apply for that. Again, that'll be in the comments. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And make one final check here to see if you guys did have any questions before we hop off. Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing any questions. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, and hope you guys also have a good weekend and stay safe and healthy out there. All right, bye guys.